Hi everyone, it's the weekend, we're at Friday, and that means it's time for another episode of The Secrets of Montessori. Today we're continuing onward with the sensitive periods. Last week I gave you a brief introduction to what are the sensitive periods. And I mentioned that there are six sensitive periods. And so today we're going to talk about the first one, which is the sensitivity to order. Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to tell you a little incident that happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, I had a young lady who came in because she wanted to find out about our diploma course, so she came in to make an inquiry. And as she was coming in for just to ask some questions, she has a young daughter who's about 8 months old. So she brought her baby in with her. Her baby was being carried in one of those, I forgot what they're called now, the one you have in front of you. And she was carrying her baby there. And so we went, to sit down on the floor and have a chat. And there was a mat. And so she had her baby strapped against her. Her baby was feeling a bit warm. So she thought, okay, let me put the baby on the mat while we have this little chat. So she unstrapped her baby and put her baby on the mat. And after about 1 second, her baby started to cry. And she was weeping and crying, and she was so upset. And her mother was talking to her and consoling her. And then after maybe about a minute, her mother picked her up, put her baby onto her chest, and in a split second, that baby stopped crying. So this is an actual illustration of the child's sensitivity to order being disrupted. That child was in a brand new environment. She'd never been to this school before. The smells were new, the sounds were new, the sights, the lighting, everything was new to her. As she was on her mother, she was comfortable. The minute her mother took her off and placed her on a surface that was new to her, the smells were different to her. She couldn't understand what was happening. Something inside got upset. She couldn't understand. Her world had been disrupted, and so she started to cry. But the minute the mother picked her up and put her against her body, and she could feel that fabric of her mother's clothing, and she could smell her mother, she became calm again because her sense of order was restored. This is exactly the same thing, same kind of incident that happened to Maria Montessori when she was developing her philosophy. She was traveling in a bus one day or a train in the winter, and it was a very crowded train, and there was a mom wearing a heavy overcoat and carrying her baby. And the mother got a little bit hot, so she took off her overcoat and then held on to the baby, and the baby got upset and she started crying. And Maria Montessori, who was watching, suggested to the mother, why don't you put your overcoat back on? So she put her overcoat back on and then took the baby, and the baby immediately calmed down because the feel of that fabric, the smell of it, made her feel calm, gave her some sense of order and comfort and trust in this environment which was alien to her. So, order is very, very important to children from the ages of 0 to 6. They need order in their entire environment. And that's what we try to provide in our Montessori prepared environment. You will always see that the shelves are the same. You can come back to my classroom in 10 years' time and the materials will always be in the same place. This gives children a sense of trust. So when they come into this classroom, everything is as it should be, where it should be, and they feel comfortable. In an unfamiliar atmosphere, children throw tantrums, they get upset, they cry, they go inward, they may, fight against you or something. It's not because they are being naughty or something like that, it's inside they don't feel comfortable. So that's why we want to give them an environment that they can trust. And when they come into this environment where they know where everything is, it gives them that sense of calm. And and they can organize their learning because they know where everything is. They come, children are they're amazing. They wake up in the morning and they're already thinking, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to do a transferring activity, or I'm going to do sweeping. And they come in and that's exactly where they will go. Now imagine I feel a little bit bored of that kind of situation as a teacher, and I say, I think I'm going to switch things around and move the sponging activity, or move the broom somewhere else. This child comes into the classroom and he starts looking for what he's already decided he wants to do. He can't find it. He's not going to think that the teacher has made changes. He's going to think, what's happening? Everything's changed. And inside he gets upset. His sense of order has been disrupted and he reacts in whatever way that he's able to manifest those feelings. He may cry, he may throw a tantrum, can't be sure what the reaction will be. So that's why we want to give them this sense of order. Sense of order also means, okay, that is external order where everything around them is in order. But children also need an internal sense of order. What that means is body awareness. They need to understand how their body works, all right? How to comfortably move and do things. Now imagine children are so little, they don't have the understanding of how their body moves yet. It's something they're still developing. And the only way they can develop it is through movement, through walking, through touching, through lifting. If I take that child and I'm constantly putting him in a playpen, or making him sit on a chair for most of the hours in school, or carrying him in a wrap or something like that, how will that child practice his body movements and gain that body awareness and feel comfortable with himself and have an internal sense of order? So that's why in a Montessori environment you'll see children are moving all the time. It's not a classroom where the teacher's at the head and the children are seated and she's controlling them. They're moving as and when they feel the need to. So this is how the sense of, or the sensitivity of order is important for children. And what can you do in your homes? You can make sure that there is an area in your home which is safe for the children to move about freely, in which everything has a place, whether it's the shoes, the clothing, their play equipment, their toys, and it remains constant. The coloring items are in one place, the Lego is in one place. This gives them a sense of security and trust. Okay, try it out. Let us know how it works for you. And we are happy to have your feedback. We're happy to get questions and answer them for you. I hope you've enjoyed this information, learning about the sensitive period to order. I'll be back next week with another sensitive period to share with you. Have a wonderful weekend.